Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. As always, my name is Craig, and joining me on this very special episode 20, just going to say that, is, of course, Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca. How are you on this glorious day?
I'm okay, thank you.
Do you know why this is a glorious day?
Because we have our friends here.
We have guests.
Yay!
We have special guests. Two of the finest people you could ever find in Instagram and South England. That is, of course, Brad and Susie from Games with Beany. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. They
All
are
those
here.
times of being randomly mentioned, and now we're here.
Yay! So, yes, if you've been taking shots every time we've mentioned Games with Beany, I apologise for all the hangovers you've had, but they're here now, in the flesh, as it were. So, now you have to drink more. So, why they are here? Why are they here? Why are they here? Why are they here? Are they here?
Yeah, they're here.
Excellent. Why are they here? So, today's episode...
Why am I here?
Yes. In today's episode, we are going to talk a bit about... We've done UKGE episodes so far. We've done beginner's guides to UKGE.
Mm-hmm.
We've done what's going on the UK of the GE.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're going to talk about kids' games. We're going to talk about getting kids into games. We're going to talk about taking your kids to UKGE and how, as a family, UKGE can be a glorious, chaotic, wonderful time.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. So we are going to have a chat with our good friends, Brad and Susie, about all things games and games with kids. As always, we're going to talk about what has hit our table. We'll have a brief discussion and we'll see what has indeed hit Brad and Susie's table this past week or so. Then we will be doing a really fun edition of the Mr. and Mrs. Quiz board game edition. And then having a chat about how we introduce our children to the hobby and why board games are important, and a bit about how to survive UKGE with those small people in tow. Yes?
Yeah.
So, I guess the first thing to say is, hello, how are you two? You right?
We're good. We're live. We're like 2 days into half term. We're alive.
Yay!
Yes. As always. It's always a good time to be alive is in half term. I find it's not stressful at all. Easy.
Especially if you throw in a trip to IKEA.
Yes,
Woohoo.
absolutely. Calyx shopping.
Making room for those new games.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what have you been playing this past week or so?
What have we been playing? I'm trying to think. I know we played games. I know we played a very short game of Sea Salt and Paper. Just want to get that in now.
It was short.
I control the joke.
It was less than an hour.
It was less than an hour.
That's a rarity.
Only with you. But no, we've been playing with Bean. We've just introduced our mandatory board game night, which makes no sense in a board gamer's household, but we have one.
Every night should be mandatory board game
Every
night.
night should be. But we've done that, and so for the past 3 weeks, because we did 2 in 1 week. I think we've been playing Elia and the Something Shiny, which was
Nice.
gifted to us a very, very, very long time ago by some friends, and has only just come off the shelf this year.
Bean's only just become of age to be able to
Yeah, he has.
appreciate it, hasn't he? So,
And
yeah,
what's that about?
It's about a little bunny rabbit trying to find something shiny.
she saw something in the distance and goes on an adventure. It's like kind of deck building and story driven, pick your own adventure thing. So you make choices on cards, which gives you other cards, or doesn't give you other cards, or you have to fight things or not fight things, and you build up a deck of events which you rotate through over the course of 7
And you
rounds.
collect items which you put in a little backpack that you put away at the end of every episode. So you can either play it all the way through, there's 5 chapters, or obviously, as we're doing, we're stopping after every chapter. But we've just got our first chapter where we have not succeeded in our mission, and we've had to put everything back in the box, and we have to do that chapter again next time.
Oh no!
That's really cool because there's for this particular chapter, there's 3 possible endings. So we know there's a lot of replayability in the game anyway, which we weren't expecting. So the fact that we've now got to go back through and do this chapter again, but with the knowledge that, okay, if we... Well, actually, I've already forgotten, so it probably will happen the exact same way.
Stay away from parrots.
But knowing that this time we need to stay away from parrots, spoilers, kind of thing, we know to stay away from them, it means that we might get through this chapter without losing our little friend whose name I've already forgotten.
Leo.
We might not lose Leo.
Yeah.
So it's
It was
quite
also
so it's a
funny, Robert.
campaign sort of thing as
It
well.
is, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
It's Beanie's first campaign, and Mummy's first campaign, and Daddy's first campaign, because we've never played campaign games.
Well, I had Blackstone Fortress,
No
but
one
I
cares
got
about
very bored of that very quickly. So
And I don't think Zombie Teens or Zombie Kids counts because it's a legacy game, which apparently there's a difference.
that's it kind of
It sounds good
involved.
though.
It is good. When I asked him earlier what his favourite game was, he said to me, "It's Elia and something shiny." And I was like, it's exciting because this morning when we let them down for a nap, we were thinking, right, what can we do to keep them off screen? Someone goes, "Who wants to play Elia with me?" And we're like, "Can't, because it takes over an hour, and then we have no guarantee that your brother's not going to wake up." But it's nice that he's actually requesting to get that game down, which is a really big deal at the moment. So
Yeah.
Other than that, he's really into cockroach poker.
oh
as
yeah,
well.
he's loving cockroach. That's the game that's been getting to the table a lot, actually. Cockroach poker. Cockroach poker. And we're like, "This is a cockroach," and he's like, "I'm like, no, it's not." And he's like, "I changed my face, and you didn't know I was playing." It's like, but he looks down, and I'm absolutely convinced that that's his tell that he's lying, and it's not, because he's lying, and he's really good at it. And he's beat me almost. I've only beat him once, and we played 4 games of it.
Something like that, yeah.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
We have yesterday decided to recatalogue all of our games.
Yeah.
And then we have printed off little name tags that have gone into a pot.
We listened to Meeple to Meeple, and basically stole what PJ and Katie do. Is we've typed out every single board game that we own on a piece of paper. We've cut them all out. We've put them in a pot, and it's a way to work out whether the games in our collection are worth keeping or we really don't want them anymore. We'll take out when we choose we want to play a game, we randomly decide, pull out a cut piece of paper out of the pot. We'll look at the 2 games, and then we'll decide if we want to play one of them. If we decide that we don't want to play either of them, we then ask ourselves, why do we not want to play either of them? Is it because those games are too long and we just want something quick and easy, we've just had a long day at work or whatever? Or are we just saying no because they're just a pile of trash and we don't want to play it? And if they are a pile of trash, why are they on our shelves? So it's quite a nice way of being able to play all of our games, because we're always going to play something different, as well as working out the ones that we really don't need anymore.
So between yesterday and today, we played Root, which doesn't get to the table as much as it should.
But Root's great.
Get Bit, we played this morning with the kids.
Yep.
Castle Panic, we played yesterday.
Yep.
And Tiny Towns. So that was quite good, because those games don't naturally come to the table very often.
And we taught Alana how to play Tiny Towns.
We did.
And she really enjoyed that. So she's getting used to that. And when she so it saves us playing Splendor and her absolutely annihilating me every single time, because that's just tragic. And I can't play Splendor now because I'm losing.
They started ganging up against me now.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. She's just a card shark.
Take the cards Daddy needs.
No.
Yeah, I've just put a keep note on my phone that is basically every time one of us utters the phrase, "We should get this to the table more," that game has to go on that list.
Yeah.
And that will become my challenge for next year's BG stats. That will make my top 10 for my 10 by 10 for next year.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I like that you said it's a good idea. You were there when I came up with this idea.
I know.
You were right there.
And it's a good idea.
I love them.
So, shall we quiz?
We should quiz. Let us quiz.
Okay.
How are we quizzing?
So I asked questions to Brad and Suzu before we started. The same questions, to see whether they would come up with the same answers. There are some suspicious answers that I need clarification on, to be fair, but we'll see what happens.
That'll probably be yours.
So, first game you ever played, Brad said, was Tekanoko or Munchkin, and Susie said it was Adventure Time Munchkin. So we'll consider that a tick.
So
I can't remember the timeline, whether we'd already bought Munchkin before we were introduced to Tekanoko.
I think we bought Munchkin. We played... No, we bought Munchkin. we played Munchkin, and then our friend Natalie came round with Takenoko and Forbidden Desert. And we taught her Munchkin, and then we played Takenoko because I'd seen Takenoko on a YouTube video, and I really wanted to play it to Sanders.
So then the next question was, first game you played in your first house together, and Brad said it was Takenoko or Munchkin. Susie said, "I'll let you know when we finally get a house."
It felt boring that both my answers were the same. I think I'm going to be facetious.
The game that has apparently caused the most arguments you both agree on was Fog of Love.
That game is no longer in our collection.
That game...
it is the only game I have legitimately table flipped. It's a game about love. We literally, the people that make that game, or they were at UKG last year, and they're like, "Do you want to play this game about love?" I went, "No, my marriage is on good terms at the moment."
What makes it so frustrating? Because I've never played it.
It was the character creation at the beginning. I got really offended.
That's the bit that caused the offence, yeah. But the actual thing, you each have your own objectives, so it's not necessarily you have to end with a happy marriage. I mean, depending on the story and your objectives, your objective could be to split up with the other person, rather than
Do you know what it's like? Together. It's like Decorum, but worse. Decorum is fantastic. Fog of Love is mean.
It is.
But yeah.
So the character creation, so you draw a bunch of little attribute cards, and you're supposed to basically you build each other's character. So it's but none of them are very complimentary words.
So you say things to each other like, "I'm really attracted to your buck teeth and your pirate limp," and there's nothing in there. It's like, "I'm attracted to your eyes are the most stunning shade of green."
Yeah. Well, what it would be is your eyes are the most stunning shade of lazy and pus.
Yeah, and it's like.
Yeah, none of them are attractive or complimentary adjectives, but you build each other's character with So when I first noticed you across the bar, I was really taken by the fact that half your head was missing.
Yeah, it's just I'm sure it's just, and I wanted to love it. I did. I wanted to love that game, and it's beautiful to look at. The components of it. It's a really stunningly made game, but that.
You just weren't in the mood that night for me delivering sarcastic compliments.
If you can get into RPG games, I mean, I feel like now that we've played so much Blood on the Clocktower, I've had to do role playing kind of thing. I feel like I probably would be able to give it a better chance. But at the time, we were still young. We hadn't that long been married. We were younger. And I was like, "This game is mean. Why do you hate me?"
Oh,
that wasn't the first. That was the fourth or fifth play, though. So we were always a bit with the character creation, but on that particular night, you just didn't have the.
You went for a long walk,
oh.
and I was not sure you were going to come back.
We will move on from Fog of Love before there are any more arguments.
A lot of reviews, though, do read very similar. There's something about it.
Okay, we won't test it out. We don't need to go there.
There's some good expansions.
So then I asked what your favourite game was, and Brad said Love Letter, and Susie said that your favourite game was also Love Letter. So that was good.
Yeah, no, I said Lovecraft Letter.
Well,
any version, pretty much.
A version of Love Letter.
Yeah.
Then Susie's favourite game was Everdell. And Brad's response was, "She refuses to let me get rid of Jumanji, so..."
Because Beany likes it.
That was the last time we played it.
I will check later and tell you. But Beany likes it.
Originally, I had wrote Everdell, and I thought, no, that's too sensible of an answer.
I was going to change it, and because I kept thinking sea salt on paper, but I'm like, no, that'll give Craig too much ammo.
You're going to have to, at some point, give context to that.
If you know, you know.
There will never be context to anything.
Context would take too long to explain.
About 3 hours.
Apparently, Brad likes to play purple, and Susie knows that he likes to play purple. And Susie likes to play, plays green or blue, but Brad thinks it's blue or red.
Depending on what's available.
Yeah,
sometimes you sacrifice.
The problem is, it's the same with our logo as well. But my favourite colours are purple, blue, and green. So the player colours that the boys have, Brad is purple, Beany is blue, and Baby is green. So that left nothing for me, and I was like, I guess I'll have red. So red is not actually my fault. I don't like playing as red. Red is not a colour I like to play as, but I get to be red because that was what was left for me.
You should pick first.
I do try, but then I like, yeah, but because I know you like to play purple, and I like to give you purple, so it's, and Beany loves blue, so it's like, but baby,
And
I might
beep, beep. And baby has to be the turtles in Everdell. He can't not be those green turtles.
Yeah. So,
I forgot. Hold on. Beep. There we go.
Brad. So I asked what game you were most upset about being cold, and Brad's response was "Trash is trash," which I don't think is a game. I think it's just a comment on the question.
If it's been cold, it was for a reason. I was not sad to see it
I'd
go.
be disappointed when I finally throw out Monopoly.
Susie was most upset about Welcome to being cold. Apparently. I like that one.
Why did you kill it?
Because you won't play it with me, and I play it mostly on BGA with Kay and Lisa, and so I was like, well, I think it's a nice game, but for the setup that it is, I don't want to play it solo as a setup. I'd rather just play it on BGA solo. And as you wouldn't play it with me,
it's not that I wouldn't play it. That was at that peak point. This is a risk of going off on a tangent of a totally different topic. But that was at that peak point where we had like far too many games that we couldn't see wood for trees, so a lot of games didn't get played. So that's
But no, it's fun. That's probably one of the ones. That's probably one of the ones I'm more sad about losing. Most of the ones I'm sad about losing are probably the roll and rights that I had. Like cartographers, I'm sad that's gone. But like now that that's on BGA, I'm loving playing on BGA. Partly because I finally get to play it with more than 2 people. It's fantastic. But yeah, so I mean, some of them is like I've got apps for them, so that's fine. But it doesn't mean I'm not a little bit sad, especially like with Welcome to, because there's so many different expansions, and not all of those are available online. And it's like, it would be nice to have them. And Rolling Realms was another one I was really sad about getting rid of, but that has been rectified a little bit by the generosity of Get Into Games by going, here, pick 2 colours and take them home with you. You don't need the actual game, just have these cards.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, you both agreed that the best game to play with the kids at the minute is Cockroach Poker. So that was good.
Yeah.
Now, Brad, best gaming experience as a couple. Brad has written Disneyland bathroom.
Did we honestly? No, I thought this, but did we actually play games in that bathroom?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had like love letter with us and stuff like that. We
definitely played games in the bathroom at your aunt and uncle's wedding.
Yeah, but pretty sure we had games with us when we went to Disneyland.
I don't think we did. I think that's why you look sad in that picture.
And that's the picture with the fajita.
So Disneyland. We went to Disneyland on our family moon because obviously we got married after having Beany. We are sinful folk. We apologise. But yeah, we had Beany, and then he was he was 2. We went to Disneyland, and obviously he needed to go sleep, and we were a distraction to him, so we went and hid out in the bathroom. And it's just we probably did have a game with us, actually, tell the truth. We probably did have something, but we had to hide in the bathroom each night until he fell asleep. So yeah. But it's definitely one of my favourite pictures of us, because I took a picture of us in the bathroom, and I'm just this cute smiley thing sitting there in a jumper, and Brad's just there in the background like, Honestly, so many pictures from our little honeymoon is like Brad looking sad and pissed off, but it's like he's in the happiest place on earth.
Oh,
that's just the timing of when you took the photo. I mean, you took a photo mid-chew with a fajita, which most people look kind of sad mid-chew.
It
wasn't an amazing fajita, to be fair. So.
Yeah. Susie said the best gaming experience as a couple is yet to come.
Because I couldn't think of what.
Wow. That's a answer.
I was going to pick the bathroom floors.
Saying too many to choose from was a good save there.
Yeah.
I must say.
Yeah, I did not see through that at all.
Honestly, I thought playing games with our friends was cheesy. I was like, no, because she said, I was like,
So, moving on to the next question. Place you'd most like to game and the place your spouse most likes to game. Brad has put the table for both of them.
That's the most convenient place.
Susie, however, put that she most likes to game at Becky and Craig's house. I think there might be some sucking up going on there.
Yeah.
And then she thinks that Brad would prefer to game anywhere where it's socially acceptable to wear pyjamas.
So it's the same answer then. Becky and Craig's house.
Or the table.
As long as there's a table, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last question was, which game do you pretend to like but secretly hate playing with your spouse? And Brad put Everdale because she always wins.
I never gets to the table. I don't always win though. Now that we've got the expansions, I very rarely win because I'm very, very good at base Everdale, where you just pick pretty cards that have lots of points. But expansion Everdale requires strategy and forward thinking, and I possess none of those skills.
Oh.
It was
And
a
then
joke answer. It wasn't a game, really.
Susie put that her game that she secretly hates is Blood on the Clock Tower. And then she
Wow.
put Joking.
That's a bold choice.
No. I then followed it up with joking.
Joking.
No.
Yeah, it's like it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
No. I love playing against you. I don't think there's anyone right now that I don't like playing with you. I really did try to think if there were any games I genuinely did not like playing with you. And I just genuinely enjoy playing all of them with you, but there have been times when I've played. There are times like playing bluffing games with you. Sometimes I genuinely hate those because obviously you're very good at bluffing, and I feel betrayed. But now that we've added a 7-year-old into that mix, I now have something new to focus my rage on. So it's like now we get to be ganged up on by a little child. This is a cockroach. He actually really likes Blood on the Clock Tower.
He's played a game of Blood on the Clock Tower with us, hasn't he?
He has, and he sucked at it, but he had so much fun.
Wasn't he the
And
barber?
he's an expert at that game.
No, he was a traveller, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a
It
barber.
wasn't the barber, it was the...
Butcher.
I can't remember what one it was.
I think we've just also found that what the episode of this the episode title is going to be. It's going to be episode 20. This is a cockroach.
Yeah.
Cockroach. Make sure you pronounce it correctly.
There we go.
Cockroach.
I think Cocker Spaniel.
Yes.
Cool.
Kids
So-
say those things.
That is board game adventure edition edition
It was an
of
adventure.
Mr. and Mrs. I hope you all enjoyed that. Thanks for listening. Good night. Oh no, wait a minute, it's not over. So
We're all taking our kids to UKG.
we are all taking our children to UKGE because
Some of us for more days than others.
some of us are
We got one day off.
some of us are crazy. The other people are me. So yeah, I mean, two different avenues of us going to UKG. And for us, I'm going on the Thursday, alone but not alone. I'm going to be going with our good friend Dale, Mr. D Chips, or Neurodicey on Instagram. We're dragging him along on Thursday for the press event. And then on Friday, Becky and I are going to be going alone
What?
for work, as well as seeing all the halls and stuff. And the good thing about the Friday for us is that we can scope the venue. And if you get the chance to be able to do this kid-free, this is what I highly recommend, but we're quite lucky that we get to, is scope the venue, make sure you know where all your exits are at all times. No, make sure you know the best place to take the kids, know where food is, know where toilets are, know where water is, know where you can kind of go for a bit of quiet time.
Know where the they're not going to be there this year, but know where the Warhammer orcs.
No, yeah, well, they'll be there.
Avoid.
Know where you can avoid cosplayers at all costs.
You want a shiny, expensive game to avoid going, Mummy, Daddy, can I have this?
Yeah,
Mark
know,
on the map,
Know where the
do
dice
not
stands
enter.
are.
yeah, know which dice stands to take your kids to because they're going to want a giant dice. And then on Saturday and Sunday, well, Saturday you've made a plan. It's busy, so you kind of know. And the Sunday, it's a living dream because it's so quiet. You can actually do the Easter egg hunt thing, which isn't an Easter egg hunt because it's not Easter.
I think when you say it's so quiet,
It is quiet.
it's not like as if there's no one there.
Compared to Saturday, it is
Yeah,
quiet.
Yeah.
it's the quietest, but it's not quiet. It's not like
It's like
library
walking through a
quiet,
pub
is
as
it?
opposed to walking through a rave.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
She
yeah,
says, "I've never been
we
to a rave."
I might have been to a rave once.
could you imagine a board game rave? That must be the coolest rave ever. or just board gamers at a rave. Could you imagine it? Just a huge bunch of.
What would be happening?
I can't hear my dice roll.
Yeah, be quiet. Where's
Where's
fish
everyone
tub?
music at this rave as people are playing?
No, it's board game. It's a board game rave, so it's just loads of white dudes. Just
Well, what happened to us?
you're a white dude.
Oh, right, I thought
What
we got food out in.
Token race person of the group. Got lost somewhere.
They'll fix the lighting. It'll be all right.
Yeah. But yeah. So I don't know where I was.
Gone off on a tangent.
Talking about badgers. I saw one of them today.
Before we decided to take our children to
Yes.
UKG, we must have got them interested in games.
Yes, but this is
Yeah.
true. But also, I mean, that's where I was going. For us, it's slightly different. We've got a 4-year-old going on 30 and a 9-year-old we're taking. In Brad and Susie's case, you have a small baby child and a bigger 7-year-old child.
Going to be 8 very soon, and he will tell you this constantly.
So what are you going? What days are you going? And like, do you have plans? Because obviously you're having them there the whole time. I don't know what days. I can't remember what day you're going home. That's so on and so forth.
So we are going up Thursday,
Mhm.
and the plan is to come home at some point on Saturday, either straight away as soon as we've had breakfast because we can't stand it anymore, or later on in the evening once I've bumped into a friend that lives down the road from me anyway. But my goal on Saturday is to bump into her. and once I've seen her, I'm like, right, I'm going home now. No, so yeah,
It won't be that soon.
It won't be. She's quite easy to spot, to be fair. She's got bright hair. So,
Yes, a lady with bright hair. That will be rare in this.
yes, much like finding a white bearded man in
Yeah.
UKG. Are also hard. Anyway, we are going Thursday through to Saturday because we were lucky enough to get press passes for Thursday. So the plan is, we have discussed this plan with Beany earlier actually. So the plan is, on Thursday we're going to check into the hotel. We're going to go get the we're going to go get the tickets from the ticket collection place. We'll do press and open gaming, and I get to stay up late on the Thursday night.
Which means I have to take the baby to bed when he gets cranky.
And we've said to Beany that yes, you can have the Switch, you can have the tablet. Once one of us sat down and get open gaming, if you don't want to join in with any games. We also know that some of our friends might be there with their kids at a similar age, so we're hoping he might be able to play with them. Then on Friday, we've said that we're going to look round as many stands as we can.
It's just a wing it, isn't it? We have no specific
and
agenda.
we've said to him, please, if you say to us, I want this game, can I have it? Or please, can I have this game? As we hope the manners will... we hope the manners will be there.
Give me.
Mama, Papa, I can use this shiny object. Yeah, we've said to him, don't be disappointed if we say to you no, because what it is that Friday we're basically going to scope it out, and then we might buy on Friday, but chances are we'll more likely do the shopping on the Saturday.
Yeah, but we need to take a photo of the product and the stand and its coordinates.
Because that's what I did wrong last year.
Find it
when I did it on my own, I was like, I saw a bargain of a price and I don't know where it is, and I went around everything, I could never find it.
So I imagined this stand, it was never there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we said
you want to walk around with...
Friday night, you're allowed to stay up late.
Yes.
So Friday night, everyone gets to game with Brad, and I will go back to the hotel room with baby. You'll stay up with Beany.
Yeah. Hopefully not set fire to any board games.
He's not bringing his lighter fluids. Monopoly will be staying at home.
Going after Cluedo next.
Yeah, I thought you were going after Enchanted Forest.
Whichever I can get my mitts on.
Oh, I like Enchanted Forest.
Have you spoken to Nick? we acquired that game from Nick, and it literally, it was brilliant. He gave it to us for free, and then literally there was a thing there was a sticker on the top that said free to whoever wants it. And then when I opened it, there was another sticker inside that said, "Are you kidding me? Throw this in the bin."
Yeah, it came with an apology.
Yes, but yeah, no. So yeah, Friday you're going to stay up late, hopefully, or as late. We've said to Beany, you can stay up as late as you can handle, or as we feel that you're handling it, and then one of us will bring him back to the hotel room as well. And then Saturday the idea is to just buy things, say hellos and goodbyes to people that we haven't said hello to, and then either stay in game for a little bit or head home just a bit, depending on how the kids feel. Because I think they'll probably handle it very, very well because Beany he'll either get overstimulated and just go crazy. So fair warning to anyone that meets him, he does not know personal boundaries, and we're really sorry. So if you don't like to be hugged, please just put your arms out.
It won't matter because he'll jump. It'll be like a
Drop and roll.
He has no pause. Literally, we were in the lift in IKEA earlier, and he just walked up to somebody, like right up to them, went, "Hello," like literally an inch from their face. Like you don't know this person.
It was the guy in the wheelchair. It was like, "Ooh, look, it's a wheelchair."
So he has no filter. He has no personal boundaries.
He's your son.
My son. But baby will just smile at you.
And
He
dribble.
will just smile at you, and that's the thing. He'll pull faces at you. You play peekaboo with him. He loves it. He's not so keen on being hugged by other people, unless he loves like Becky. On the one hand, Becky. I can give him to Becky.
Yeah.
Becky and Jenny are like, guys, you're taking my baby away from me. I've actually already promised him to Jenny. So I said, if you get overstimulated, take my baby for a walk. Tags. But yeah, they
GPS tags.
GPS tags.
Okay.
Just
I doubt she's playing the long game. It's probably okay.
I'm still convinced they can play the long game.
Oh my god.
But no, they should be fine. The thing that will be hard, it will be my anxiety that drives us through the roof, and I will project something that's not there, and then anyone that knows me will probably get a text message from me going, "I'm really sorry about my children," to which I'll just get a response back, and they're fine, they're lovely.
It's you.
It's like, afterwards went, but he's so well behaved. I'm like, is he? Which child are we talking about?
So to get slightly back on track, there's no hard and fast plan in terms of what we want to do and who we want to see. It's more, we are going to wing it and just...
Because I was feeling really bad about the fact that I didn't have a ukge plan. Because a lot of the people that we've been speaking to, especially a lot of the new gamers or the new Instagamers, seem to have plans and maps and lists. And I was like, oh my God,
appointments booked.
And I have none of this. And I'm like, oh my God. And Brad had to remind me that we're going there essentially to review this as an experience for families and how that works with, because we're lucky, obviously, in having such a big age gap, we can review it from both. We can review it from the point of view of taking a small child that has no idea where their nose is to a small child that has no idea where their filter is.
And the other thing, and I've always said about these grandiose plans that people have of, I've got meetings, I'm going to see everyone, I'm going to do everything, I'm going to do this is what I'm going to do, this is my itinerary, these are all the things I'm going to do. It's never going to happen.
No, you'll burn out.
Life is what happens when you're busy making plans.
Yeah. You make plans, you go somewhere that if your first time or your second time, you go somewhere and then suddenly it hits you, this wall of noise, this halls of games, and you're distracted. And that list, you've got a map, but the list goes out the window.
But I still missed loads of stands last year. I mean, people were saying to me, because you saw, I think it was the Robot Quest, really, you saw them in the expo. I saw them on press night, but you saw them in the expo, and I was like, I went around that hall 5 times and I never saw them. So, but yeah, the thing is, I went up and down maps and stuff like that, and I still missed a good chunk of it, and you're always going to. And that's the fun, actually, I think, is like you do miss something, and you then go online and you go, oh, I missed that, and it's one of those few occasions where FOMO actually is part of the fun.
Yeah.
Because it's
last year when we took the kids, we just sort of wandered.
Yeah.
And we would go to the Coral Springs, we'd sit down, then we'd wander, we'd go to Imagination Gaming, we'd wander, we'd go do King of Tokyo. And we just sort of wandered and sat where there was a space to sit and played.
Exactly.
And Beany has one goal. He wants to find someone that will let him make a game. He's got it in his head because obviously he's now got into Roblox and stuff like that because we're using Roblox as a distraction from Minecraft. It's like, that hasn't worked.
Well, no, he's found Minecraft inside Roblox.
But he wants to make. But he does actually like making his own games. The amount of times he will actually make games out of Lego or on pieces of paper and stuff like that. It's really sweet, and I really enjoyed doing. He's now open to kind of rule adjustment, but he's like, I hope there's somewhere where I can make a game. And I had to think, because I remember last year there was at least 2 stands. There was one that was it was a cardboard box and it was full of different components, and that was used to build a board game. And then there was Kugo, and I'm still kicking myself for not with Kugo kind of thing. But I think he'll like that because it's, again, it's not the Rainbow Friends Minecraft game that he's trying to build in his head, but the idea of actually having something that he can mess around with and play, because he likes to get the board games out and make little worlds in them, as does Baby now.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really important, like that kind of making the worlds out of games. And I think that's quite a way to get like kids into games and how you bring them into how to introduce kids to board games and to get them gaming.
How we've introduced Baby to games is basically he's been born into a family that has 100 and something odd games. They are in his eye level, and he goes, "Oh, I like that one. I pull it down. Oh, I like that one. I pull it down. Oh, I like that one. I break it."
Yeah. He's starting SOS Dino, and he'll just point at the box, getting gradually more agitated until we lift the lid and give him the little dinosaurs from inside.
I am genuinely so disappointed that Haber is not going to be there because obviously since the get-go, he's gravitated towards the yellow shelf, as we keep calling it, which is all our Haber games, and those are the ones he pulls down. So I was so excited to take him to basically little mini Haberland, and they're not coming.
Yeah, I wrote before we started the podcast a little list of things that we did to introduce our children to board games, and Haber was one of the things on the list because I just think they're very accessible for all ages. Yeah. I think on the boxes it says 0 to 99, I'm pretty sure, on most of them. And that's where I think we started off with Alana, as well as like Orchard games, those kind of.
Yeah. So there's the three, like, I would say, Orchard games are quite good for, like, they're quite educational. They you can tell that their main focus is, you can tell they're trying to teach the basic.
They feel like they'd be at home in a schoolroom.
Yeah. Whereas Haber games, and I think Blue-Orange games, the Blue-Orange games that are kids games are like Dr. Eureka and stuff, and Kitty Bitty and things, memory games. They feel like they're teaching kids what they need, but they're also doing it through fun games with great component quality, as well as not only teaching kids the educational side of things, that they memory and all of that stuff, but they're actually teaching how to play board games. They're like mechanics that are there, like Moonlight Castle. It's a really basic worker placement game that and the Loki games, the one that was, what's that one with we saw it, we played it at Aircon with the meerkats, but there weren't meerkats, they're prairie dogs.
Oh yeah.
That's a really cool game, and they had to jump in the little holes and catch the air. That game.
That game. But also, I think, like, I bought a lot of board games from my childhood here. And then we've given them to the children because they're not our special games anymore. So they've been able to explore those. So things like Labyrinth and Downfall and those kind of games that we had as children, they've now enjoyed those. But we don't have to be so precious over them because they're not the games we enjoy anymore.
No. And it's just learning through playing, like making your own stories, like you mentioned earlier, like being able to just open a box and then just have the characters and just do something with them, play with the game and understand. Yes, it ends up with components everywhere and potentially holes in boxes.
I think the only thing with that is that if you're very precious about wanting to resell them, which is what I think for me, for a little bit I was, and I was like, but you know what I've actually ended up doing with my friends, that they're casual board gamers. So a lot of my friends, obviously, I get a lot of messages, especially around Christmas, going, well, what games do you recommend for kids? I'm like, whatever your kid likes. But what I've done is I've passed those games on to friends. I've either sold them to some of them for keeps, or I've just passed them on. And so we were talking about Ely, because our copy of Ely is so beat up. And I said that this is such a lovely game, and I feel so lucky that we got gifted this game, that when we finish it and we're done with it, we're going to pass it on to somebody else anyway. And so if you're not too precious about having perfect cardboard on your shelf, then it's okay. They'd let them bash it up a little bit, because, like, I mean, it kills me that Baby's destroyed. Not first words. It kills me, but that's only because obviously I've got an emotional attachment to that game anyway. But at the same point, I'm like, he's little, and it's
the cards have survived.
The cards have survived.
The box has been destroyed, but the cards are still in good.
But the thing is, and that will only be an issue if I plan to resell it on down the line. But if I think, I've got a friend that's just had a baby. Oh, I've got this game. I've got the instructions, I've got the cards. I don't have the box. Have it. It's a free game to someone at the end of the day.
Exactly,
so, you know, beggars can't be choosers.
It's like the Hungry Caterpillar game that we used to play a lot with Beany.
Because you wanted to buy a new version of that for baby, and I've said no.
It is beaten to all hell. I mean,
the board is beaten. But the rest of the game is perfect. That was one of Beanie's very first games. And
the board looks like my copy of Monopoly.
It does. But that's the thing. But at the same point, he's probably going to destroy it anyway. He's probably going to manhandle it bad. So there's no sense in buying a brand new spanking copy for him when we've got a copy that'll do just fine. It's just if he destroys it, he destroys it, and I'll cringe, and I'll cry, but I'll get over it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, sorry. One of the things that I've noticed as well, but just I think with ours is that Alana used to play loads of different games, and we kind of had really young games, and then she's as she's getting older, she's playing a bit more complicated games, a bit more complex, a bit more words, a bit more mathy, that kind of thing. But what I've noticed is that our youngest Corday, she misses. She's now.
She doesn't play.
She doesn't want to play the baby game. She wants to play the games that Alana's playing. So now we've got all these babyer games, and she's like, no, because Alana plays that one. Because my older sister plays that one.
What I reckon will happen with us. I reckon that we will probably skip over some of the baby ones that I want to try, and he'll jump straight into the bigger ones. I mean, you've had game days with us. You've seen him sitting at the table with us. He's watching us, and he's obviously he gets them done because he knows these are fun things. He knows that we enjoy them. He got up on the table at Jenny's the other day and literally sat there he didn't. My first instinct was, oh my god, he's going to throw everything on the floor. He didn't. He sat there and he was pointing at components and making noises as though he wanted. It's like when he reads stories and he makes the noises that we make, kind of thing. He does the same thing. He makes our actions. He points them, and I'm like, he is going to.
He'll probably jump ahead of Bean, won't he? Yeah.
Because Beanie at the moment is loving the fact that obviously he plays games where the age rating is older than him, and he loves that about it. He thinks it makes him feel so smart and so clever that they can. He's been playing games that say 8+ for years.
Since he was 4.
Since he was 4, and it's just.
But we played a lot of co-op games, so we'd help him out. So in some respects, it was like he was playing, but he might have just been an AI that we were taking along for the ride a little bit as well. That exposure and that idea of risk reward and strategy. So
which was something. So we've been having a little bit of an issue with him in the sense that you've been trying to teach him risk versus reward, haven't you?
Oh yeah, because he's getting big into just taking unnecessarily huge risks,
and that stresses you out, and it stresses us, and it stresses me out.
See him play Rafter 5.
Yeah. But that's the thing. He does these things, and it's really frustrating because we want to turn around to each other. No. If you try it this way, try it our way. Do it our way. And we got given some really good advice, which was basically just let him make the mistake. You're actually in a safe environment. How many situations can you make mistakes that are essentially risk and consequence free? Board games for kids where they get to make risks and make mistakes and fail, but it's safe and it's fun, is really good for them. And that's what we got told. We got told this is a great way for him to make his decisions. So basically for us, we have to shut up. That's it. We have to shut up. We have to make mistakes. So we've been doing that with Elia. Because obviously with Elia, you're making decisions. You have to make a decision. Are you going to go this way? Are you going to go that way? Are you going to pay this, pay that? Are you going to wait for another card? So what we've got now is we've got a vote system. Because obviously there's 3 of us playing it, so 2 votes outweighs.
Which means we can direct it into the less ridiculous
if we
decision
want to.
if we need
but
to.
We do try and basically make sure that he gets a say on it. And we're finding that we're getting less and less snarky friction and stuff like that. We're getting, because obviously kids go through that horrible pre-teenager stage. But it's been a learning experience, not just for him, but for us as well, and learning how to play co-op nicely. And it tells us by the time baby gets around, this will be much nicer for people.
That's the thing. I mean, games like
seasoned veterans at that point. You should see him play Lem though. I mean, basically, it's he's
that was the stress.
Shooting for deep space every time. We'll have games where he has 0 points because he refuses to do anything. But it's like, I'm going to get it. It's like, no, you're not.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's all about life skills and learning skills from games. There's so many skills that you get from board games.
So I wrote down a few that I think, particularly Alana at the minute, Corday as well, but things like sharing planning ahead, being flexible because you can't always do the thing that you want to do, learning from others, being competitive, and then also, excuse me, being working in cooperation, teamwork with each other, using your imagination. Alana specifically has been at school teaching the games to her like board game group at school, so she's learning like leadership skills of how to like teach games to other people, and she's not great like with her academic like maths and English subjects, but she is amazing at abstract strategy game. Like she's like, how do I beat daddy? And like
she loves she'll love a Sudoku, or she'll love an abstract. We play Boop, and she's always trying to play
Santorini.
To beat me at that. Santorini, she loves anything with those sort of puzzly games. We even tried Shobu recently. It's probably a bit too much tactically for her, but she's getting there.
What skills do you think like Beanie's picking up from playing board games?
He's learned how to be a better liar thanks to Cockroach.
His vocabulary has extended. There's some fun swears. No, definitely I'd say the working as a team. He prefers cooperative to competitive. That's not to say he won't play competitive, but he much prefers to work as a team. And I think for him that's really good because he's very math orientated. He does really well with maths, but
but nothing else.
And like I said, his social skills are not always fantastic. He has friends. Obviously, he's got friends that he gets along with. You've seen him get along with your girls. He does. But I think he struggles sometimes with that notion of that person's doing something I don't like and stuff like that. So I think the cooperative games really help him kind of work as a team. And we always use them because his school has this thing called Team Tigers. We always bring that into play.
Oh, yeah.
And that really helps. But yeah, I mean, I spent ages, because I knew he liked maths, buying lots of maths-based games for him. Sum Swap was a great one, which I've given to a friend. She's going to give it back to me from Time for Baby. We've already agreed on this one. But yeah, I spent so long building that, but then I realised I don't need to do those games. Those games are great, and yeah, he does like them, but he's already good at maths. He doesn't want to do more maths in board games. He wants to play. He wants to play Elia, where it's a world and like a little video game of making choices and decisions. He wants to play Minecraft and stuff like that. He wants to play Five Nights at Freddy games.
Have you tried What Next? Sorry.
No, I've heard it's good though.
Yeah, he might like that because it's like a story-driven thing as well, and
that's
choices
I'm
to make.
thinking of getting more good. Like he likes the Exit game for kids. Cosmo will kind enough to send us a copy of that. And I'm going to look out because there's another one. I'm going to look out for that at UKG and think maybe get him another Exit game because that was quite fun and that was interesting. And it's just. I'm deciding, especially with UKG, what I'm going to try and do is not get him games that I think he'll like. I'm going to try and see if I can let him show me what games he likes and try not to mold him to the gamer that I want him to be, but let him... Because that's the thing, because I bought so many of these kids' games where I thought, oh, he'll love this, he'll like that, he'll get that. And it gets to the table maybe once or twice. And I overdid it. I overdid it with kids' games because I wanted us to be a family gamer. When I wanted us to be a family gamer account, I wanted that, and I wanted to... But really, I think the same thing that we found, that there's too much wood for the tree.
Yeah.
Thing.
That thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing, that metaphor. We've got the same with Bean, is that there's too many games for him to pick from now. But like your girls, he wants to play the bigger kid games. He wants to play Cockroach Poker and stuff like that. He wants to be involved in that. So
saying that Monsters Outnumbered, that's a maths one, but he did enjoy the fact that he could screw us over with particular.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
So he prefers competitive. No, sorry, he prefers cooperative over competitive unless it's being out. Unless he knows he can beat us.
Yeah.
The thing is, as well, like you mentioned, I mean, there's just too much choice, and there's so many games out there that you can play, and it's whether you're going to be able to get the right game at the right time. If there was only a way that you could probably get games for kids that they could play. And then, like,
send them back.
Oh my god! If only there was a way that you
could service.
What?
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I would love a service like that. I don't know if there's one exists. Maybe we can come together collectively to create.
There is one.
Sorry,
there is one.
I'm confused. What?
One exists.
Sorry.
One exists. We talk about this every week.
What do you mean?
I can't say I've heard you mention it on any of the podcasts.
See,
Oh my
they've
gosh.
never heard anything.
There's like a void when you say it. No.
Sorry, pardon? Sorry, I couldn't hear you. You stepped into the void.
Is there somewhere perhaps that we could rent a game?
Yes. And you can shuffle them up.
Sorry. That sounds like a terrible idea. I'm going to roll out of here.
Rent, shuffle and roll?
Sorry, who?
Oh, Craig, don't do this to me.
I'm confused.
The Games podcast is sponsored by.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, see, they're even doing it along.
Gee whiz. That's quite right. Get Into Games on Air is indeed sponsored by Rent, Shuffle and Roll. So why don't you head to rentshuffleandroll.co.uk and check out their library of fantastic games. And once you've made a decision...
UKGE as well.
Oh, you could do that. And once you've made that fantastic decision, you can use code GITG50 to get 50% off your first month subscription with Rent, Shuffle and Roll. That's rentshuffleandroll.co.uk and the code GITG50 to get 50% off your first month. Check them out at UKGE. They're on a stand somewhere. You can say hello to the lovely folk, and you can go to the Hilton and play their lovely games.
They were at the top of the stairs last time.
They were at the top. They were at the top of the stairs last time. I don't think they're at the top of the stairs this time.
Okay.
So if you go to the top of the stairs and they're not there, then you'll have to look somewhere else for them. But Rent, Shuffle and Roll. Rent, Shuffle and Roll today with the code GITG50.
Has a monkey in it.
And someone has a monkey in it.
So, I asked the people.
You asked the people.
I asked the people.
Anyway, you asked the people.
Some questions on Instagram. A few people replied.
A few people.
So, how did you get your kids into board gaming? Oh, it's just disappeared. That's not very helpful, is it?
How did you get your kids into board gaming? It's just disappeared.
Boredom Games Weymouth said, squish them into the box.
I was going to say that.
That's a good way.
And Matty_Chuck said, told them if they don't, I'll put them up for adoption. Then they barked at me.
That's fair enough.
Okay. Then I asked what skills the children were learning, and Matty_Chuck said critical thinking skills, strategy, and observation skills.
But they were barking.
Yes.
Okay.
I think he may have moved on from the dogs.
Excellent.
Nain. No, I'm going to get this wrong. Nain_spielt_in_FFM.
Yes.
Said all of them: math, rules, strategy, enjoying time with their loved ones.
She's coming to the UK in October.
And Boredom Games Weymouth said so much, it's invaluable, really. And then I asked, what did I ask? What do you want your kids to remember about their childhood? And it's disappeared again. I'm really inept at getting this up on the screen.
This is professional.
Matty_Chuck said that I was there with and for them. And Nain_spielt_in_FFM said the time spent together with the whole family.
Yes.
So I guess that's the next question, isn't it? What do you want your children to take away from...
What do you want to remember about...
What do you want? Craig?
What do I want?
Yeah,
I want a cup of coffee.
What do you hope...
I'd love a coffee.
Well, we can have one in a minute.
Okay, thanks.
What do you hope that the children take away from what we're teaching them about board games?
I just hope they enjoy it. I think that's the most important thing, is that they have fun and they remember it being fun, and it's something that they can remember that when I'm dead. They go, I remember Dad used to spend all the money on the board games.
I think...
And we never got to go on holiday. I just want them to remember that.
I think they'll
beat him at Splendor.
Yeah, they beat me at Splendor.
I think they'll remember like the experiences, like taking them to UKGE, like taking them to Aircon, but also like the little things, like Alana staying up on some nights so she can play board games with us, her coming home from Cubs and playing board games. You know, she'll remember that she did those kind of little...
Hopefully as well through this, like, yes, you make friends at school and you make friends at clubs and Cubs and all that sort of thing.
Clubs and Cubs.
And all the clubs and things that you do after school. But also with, like, when families get together, like, we all have our kids all talk to each other and play with each other, and Jenny's kids and all that sort of stuff. And then who knows down the line when we're all dead, they might be the future of Blood and the Clock Tower.
Oh, yeah.
They can have my Discord. Honest, they can control that. I don't care. I'm not precious about it.
What would you do if they sold all your games?
Kill them.
Like, oh, we don't want any
Kill
games
them now.
Come back.
What do you hope that Beany and Baby take away from?
I was saying the same thing actually earlier. That it's actually one of the things about joining Instagram. And yes, okay, it sparked off. Yeah, our collection went from a 2x2 to a whatever. But meeting other family accounts that have kids that we've then been able to meet up with them and their kids, because I get such anxiety about Beany where he has friends at school and friends in general, especially as an only child growing up with lockdown and stuff like that. I felt very bad for him not having other kids to play with. But then we've met all these kids for these things, and it means he's got varied friends. It means that, okay, he might not get along with the kids at school all the time. He might not always enjoy the kids at Beavers and stuff like that. But he's got, yesterday he was around Jenny's kind of thing, and he just jumped straight into playing with 2 girls that he knew and 2 girls that he didn't know. We meet up with your girls, and he loves them. I love the way they play together I love that. Do you know what I love? I love when we have meetups and they take board games and go play themselves now. That is something that I absolutely love. Like when they were playing Cheese Thief. Yeah. I love that. I hate that when the box comes back to me, everything's in a box. But I love that they've got this independence now, that they've started making their own little
games day.
They make their own little games days.
Our kids go to bed. We send them up to bed about, I don't know, 6:30, 7, and we say as long as they stay in their room, they can stay up. And they literally they've got a cupboard now, their own cupboard of games, and they get them out and they play, and then they put them back away, and it's kind of cute.
So, like, I asked Beany beforehand, I was like, so when you play board games, how does that make you feel? And he's like, good, because it's fun. And I was like, well, how do you feel about Mummy and Daddy when we're playing games? He goes, it's fun and you're fun. And I'm sitting there thinking, I snap at you almost every game day, which I hate. I hate that I get like that. It's something I'm working on. But your
competitive side really shines through.
And my mother's side. I channel my mother from beyond the grave.
I kind of understand why you get that way, though, because sometimes when you just have to play shifting stones against me and suffer tragic losses.
And board games.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, Craig, you went there.
What I want for him is, like, he says that he remembers the fun stuff. Now, I always think this, as mothers, as parents, we always think that we are doing wrong by our kids. We always think that we are failing them in some way or other. But the amount of things I've learned recently with Beany, that actually he doesn't see that. He doesn't see Mummy shouting and Mummy stressing. He sees Mummy that plays board games with him, that takes him out places, that buys new games for him, that's taking him to UKG. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that at the end of the day, he won't remember Mummy that flipped Fog of Love. He will remember that. It might have seeped into his subconscious. Remember Mummy and Daddy that played board games with him. And then I'm hoping, obviously, that with such a big age gap between the boys as well, I'm hoping that the board games will bridge that gap. That they'll play those games together, that they'll think, and like you're saying with staying up late playing board games, you find as well that it gives you time with your eldest. It gives you one-on-one time that you don't always get, because when you've got 2 kids of different ages during the day and you've got to do drastically different things for them and you can't always do something, it's nice to have that one-on-one time with each kid. And I'm hoping that, as obviously when Baby's older, Beany will probably be like, I'm off out playing with my friends, and that's when we'll have board game days with Baby. He's a new name by that point.
Might actually have to name him.
But that's what I want. I want them to remember the good times, the times with family, the times with friends, the friends that they've made. I mean, because we've made friends all over the country now.
Yes.
Our petrol expenses have gone right up because of that.
Social life is expensive.
It is. It was better when we had no friends. No, it's not. But that's what I want for him. I by all means, love what games you love, whether he loves like little games like we do, like the little pocket ones, whether he wants to play big 6-hour games, whether he wants to be a Dungeons and Dragons or storytelling block up to, I don't care. as long as he enjoys it and he gets the community that we've got out of it, that's what I want for them.
Yeah.
So
I think it's like it's like reading books, isn't it? Games can take you in can open your imagination and take you to worlds you never thought you'd like. I would never go to space and whatever, but when I play Nemesis, I feel like I'm in space and I'm doing that kind of thing, and you're learning that kind of vocabulary that goes along with that theme of that game. It opens your eyes to other avenues and other things.
Yeah.
New worlds. Yeah.
Yes. Good. So if you had one final piece of advice for anyone taking their families to UKG or people having young children that really want them or struggling to get kids to play board games, and because there's a lot of people that I know as well on Instagram and stuff that are they're board gamers, but they feel that their kids potentially either don't have the patience. That's the biggest thing. Don't have the patience to play a board game, or don't have any interest. I mean, what would your piece of advice be to someone who has that problem? Well, it's not a problem, but you know what I mean.
I suppose it's cliche. It's going to sound, I suppose, breathe and find your own patience, because the kids might not have the patience for the games you're showing them. Then are you showing them the wrong games? It's like for months when he was smaller, I'd end up at 6 a.m. every day playing the Hungry Caterpillar game with Bean. And it got tedious, but he enjoyed it. But it then branched from there into other games. We had some of the Orchard Games library, a few other bits. Yeah. And from there, it's slowly built up into what it is now. So if you're trying to introduce kids in, I mean, depending on how old they are, you might have to play some absolute dreck to get them to where you want them to be. But it's a case of getting them to that point. If they're not interested, you've got to find either something that sparks that interest or that brings them in more gently. You can't just throw Twilight Imperium at a 5-year-old and think it's going to be a good day.
My advice would be to ignore the age ratings on games. Don't be put off because you've got an 8-year-old that you're introducing to games and you're playing a game that's like for ages 4+. And equally,
those games.
Don't be put off for introducing your 4-year-old to a game that says 8+. You know your kids better than anyone else. As every midwife has told me, you are the expert in your child. You know what your kids' interests are. Find games that, and don't be upset if you don't get through a whole game.
Yeah.
Be prepared to give up midway through a game.
I'll keep the heroes out. We do one essentially one phase, don't we? We don't do the full phase
because he's a full game on that.
His attention starts to wane a little bit, and it's easier sometimes to end early on a high than try and push through.
Definitely.
That's the thing is, don't be afraid to play the baby games with the big kids and the big games with the babies, because at the end of the day, I'm a 30-something-odd-year-old woman that loves Bluey, so I a freaking game on that one, and it's just
I'm an almost 40-year-old man that still enjoys Snail Sprint.
Exactly.
So.
Get that. Actually, no, that's my advice. Get Schneckderwoop. Everyone loves the snail game.
I would say my piece of advice is to give the children a variety, a good diet of different games, and then, like Brad said, then they can choose their own path. And because we're not all the same, we don't all like the same things, but you can show them lots of different types of games. And then, we found, Alana really loves abstract strategy, but that's only because we showed her lots of different things and she sort of veered towards abstract strategy and was really good at it. But yeah, just I
will say with that, though, the good thing to do is don't necessarily invest the money in it, but rent games, perhaps.
Yes!
I was going to say, why don't you show your kids the website, rentshuffleandroll.co.uk, and let them choose and use the code GITG50 for 50% off that first month of choice.
But that's what I've done with my friends. I've given them games that Beany liked and said, try this. And some of them have loved the game more than Beany did. Others of them then just pass it on to them. You've got friends around. Trade.
What was your piece of advice?
My piece of advice for people struggling with kids that are not as patient or things like that, just get new kids.
Yes.
No.
That's why we had another one.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Just take your time. Don't worry about it. Not every game's for every child. You'll find something that suits. If one's not clicking, doesn't mean it'll never click. So don't give up.
Our 4-year-old now runs Cheese Thief.
She runs
Very
Cheese Thief. She's in charge of Cheese Thief.
I
Yeah,
loved her running Cheese Thief.
Yeah,
That's-
she's
Definitely got the vibe of a young
There you
Craig
go.
running.
That was
cocktail.
my favourite gaming experience. Cheese Thief run by expertly run.
Yeah.
She's there to a bean.
She's a future clock tower
The fact that
storyteller.
she could teach Beany a game was probably she got him.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
an achievement. So.
But no, it's just I think with kids, as gaming with kids, it's the same way that you approach games. They're there to have fun. It's no sense if you're not enjoying the game, put it away. Come back to it.
It's the same as introducing non-gaming adults as well, I suppose, isn't it? I mean, you still got to. You can't expect them just to enjoy this big, massive box game because you like it. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. Well, that settles it. We've put the world to rights about gaming with kids and UKGE coming as a family. I hope you've enjoyed everything and look forward to seeing you all at UKGE. If you do see us or you do see Brad and Susie, say hello. Jump them.
Are you both in the
Jump
bingo?
scare them.
Are you both in the bingo?
Are they both in the bingo? Are you both in the bingo?
We are in the bingo as a family. So
There was a family picture, but we've censored the baby's face for the sake of the bingo card. Even though obviously you'll see his face for real in real life.
I know it's going to be amazing. That is the big reveal for UKGE. What does baby look like?
It would be great because actually what they do is they put a big blurred sign in front of his face.
That is Brad's idea.
Did suggest that, yeah.
Just like a different map.
Print out an emoji to hold over his face when people take the selfies.
If you look at our logo, you've got a rough idea what he looks like anyway.
Yeah.
He looks like one of us more than the other.
So if our lovely listeners, both of them, want to... Oh no, you're on here. Oh my God. No, if your lovely listeners want to follow you on the social medias, how do they do that? How do they follow you?
Well, they just come to the door. No. So we originally were a family-run account, which was mostly run by me, which is at Games with Beany, all one word.
On Instagram, yeah.
On Instagram. I have no other social... I mean, I have Facebook, but I don't post Games with Beany content on there. But Brad never got involved, never did a thing, never rode my coattails. But now he has his own lovely account.
I'm an unofficial subsidiary.
And you can find him
at my _ shelf life being one word, as in when food goes bad.
No, to be fair, I do love your account now. I think it's nice for you to have an outlet.
I did put content onto Games of Beany.
It's good for your spouses to have an outlet. Let them have their own Instagram account.
Doesn't lower the tone of yours.
Doesn't lower the tone of mine.
You are no longer lowering the tone of
But
my
if you
channel.
surpass me in followers, we'll be having words, mate.
I'll buy you some of your own. It'll be okay.
No one buys followers.
Oh yeah, that's not what I meant.
Cool. So yeah, please follow at Games with Beany if you're not already, and at my _ shelf life on Instagram and all those good things. Tell them how wonderful hearing their voices were on the podcast, and that they should have their own podcast and have us on it as guests. Just the opposite way round. Yeah. This time next year, mark it in your calendars. No. Or if you don't have a calendar, your diary. If you don't have a diary, just put it on a piece of paper and stick it to the fridge.
If you don't have that, write it on a wall.
Exactly, just scribble it on your wall. Everybody scribble it on your wall. That's our one piece of advice.
Right on the back of your hand.
Yeah, right on the back of your hand, and never have a bath.
Imagine if you went to UKGE and you just saw everybody had scribbled Games with Beany podcast on the back of their hands. You know they hadn't washed since.
To be fair, sometimes when I'm walking around UKGE, I do get the feeling that people have not had a bath.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, thank you so much for listening. I don't know words. For listening to this episode of the Podcast. And remember to follow Games with Beany, my shelf life. And remember, as always, to get into the shower before UKGE because you stink.
Oh.
Not all of you. You don't all stink. Okay, both of the listeners.
It might have been the room. At aircon, it was the room.
The room can't have a shower.
The room smelt like sick at aircon.
No, that was the
The room
people.
can
No,
have
it
a
wasn't
shower.
the people.
If Brad sets fire to Monopoly again, the room will definitely have a shower.
Oh, the sprinklers.
Right. Remember
to
get into games.
Get what?
Games. Get into games.
So rent, shuffle,
Get
and
your
roll.
kids into games.
Get your kids into games. Remember to get your kids into games. Thank you very much. Love you. Bye.